Hello everyone and welcome back to Sendix Weather channel, where today we're doing a premiere or a video depending on when you're watching this. We are looking at my Sendix December weather prediction / forecast to see what he is predicting. Not me, Sendix forecast to see what he is predicting for December 2025. Well, I thought, seeing as we've been looking at 2010 a lot, why not have a quick flashback to 2010? Because obviously this is what's happening this year. Just saying. This is my prediction, right? 2010 is definitely happening this year. No, it's not. It's not. It is a bit different. But I'll want to show you just for a reference what it was showing, because I think it's only right. It's only right. So we had higher pressure out in the North Atlantic up towards Greenland. Lower pressure is to the south, winds in from a bitterly cold easterly wind. We had a Scandi high. We sent the high to Scandi and brought in an easterly wind. Now, of course, we are looking at similarities to November this year, to 2010, when it suddenly came out of nowhere. Could this be the same as well this year? Well, we'll have to wait and see. But with the December to remember, obviously it went slightly milder for a time, but higher pressure always out to the west of the UK before into the second week. High pressure rebuilt through the country, and then we saw that proper Arctic blast. We had higher pressure around the country before it ridged out into the Atlantic, retrogressed, and we saw bitterly cold air surging southwards down the side of an Omega block towards Greenland, and we saw the beast from the north, and it was pretty cold, pretty wintry snow, bloody icebergs. There was heavy snow showers, blizzards, drifting, anything you can imagine. But yeah, that's just a quick flashback to that. But what is it like this year? Well, here we go. We're going to start by looking at the latest on the Niño signature. So obviously there's been a lot of talk about La Niña, which is in effect this year. If we look currently at the charts, you can see we're around here. Looking at December is around here. And as you can see, which might be interesting to some of you, we are at the strongest point of La Niña, which is about minus 0.6 to minus 0.8. And that is weak La Niña, but it can lead to increased blocking patterns developing in the North Atlantic and lower pressure sliding into Denmark. And we bring a cold northerly wind. Could that play into our hands this year? Well, we'll have to wait and see, but that's also another indicator. Remember, just looking at the indicators, and I'll bring you all my amazing forecast at the end. I'm sure some of you winter lovers will love it. Now, moving on to the stratospheric developments. This is the polar vortex at its roots, 30 kilometres above the atmosphere, as some people had a go at me for that. So I've actually told you the facts this time. But you can see this warming developing over Siberia around the 20th of November. Now remember, an early warming in November, a sudden stratospheric warming, could play pivotal to December because there's a 2-week lag time, and that would play right into the hands of the first week of December, which might be interesting for my forecast. But you can see right at the very end of the run, we do have a strong warming over Siberia, gathering pace, putting pressure on the polar vortex and displacing it over the top of the UK. Obviously, in the stratosphere, but not 10 HPA in the stratosphere, not right over the top of the UK. Imagine that. Just an absolute polar air mass sat right over the top of the UK instead of over the North Pole. Imagine the scenes. Minus 50 temperature. No. It won't be that cold, but can see it being displaced. Displacement events can lead to a splitting. What you need is these oranges and red colours to develop and really put pressure on it to penetrate the polar vortex, which sounds very wrong, but that is the proper geographical term, to penetrate it and split it in half or seriously weaken the polar vortex at its roots. In this case, it's not, but this might bring some encouragement to that. So as you can see, this is the latest zonal mean winds. If they go 0 degrees or below, 0 meters per second or below, they are in reverse, and that is the level for a major sudden stratospheric warming. Now, as you can see, the average for yesterday's runs is dropping to around 4 to 3 meters per second, which is very close to the level needed, and you can see still a few runs going for a reversal. Now, if that happened on around the 25th, between the 25th and the 30th of the month, that could, if that had a 2-week lag time, that would play right into the first week of December, and that could be interesting for sure. Looking at the CFS V2, this is for December. It is a very anticyclonic signal. It has higher pressure right over the top of the UK. that would be anticyclonic doom and gloom with some frost and fog in places. This is the interest point. So this is the NAO forecast by the CFS ensembles for December to remember. No, it's for this year. But as you can see, we're looking at the interest point between here and here, which is December. And you can see that for the majority of that period, we have a negative NAO favoured. And as I said before, that increases your chances of blocking patterns developing to the northwest, leading to cold Arctic winds. And obviously, as we go through December, things can get colder. And it could be very interesting. I'm also favouring a lot of wintry weather in some places this year. Obviously, there's a November cold snap coming up, but that could be nothing compared to what's on the cards for December, if my forecast is anything to go by. So there you go. Well, I've run through the chart data. What am I predicting? Well, here's Sendit's amazing forecast. So I think that I'm going to make my screen bigger, which I hate doing. But I personally think that we will see a colder than average December this year. I think it will be quite a memorable one as well. December to remember? Not quite, but I think it will have some interesting talking points. I think that the start of the month will be the main period of interest. We will see a sudden stratospheric warming this year, major sudden stratospheric warming, and that will play pivotal to our weather through the first couple of weeks of December. I think we'll see one around the 25th of November, ASSW, or very close to that. And we see a 2-week lag time, so it varies the impact. But I think we'll see some very strong blocking continue over Greenland and Iceland, just like the chart behind me. And we will see a proper northerly wind, northeasterly wind, plenty of snow. I do think that the north will be the driest, but I think the south and southeast will see some low pressure systems moving up from the southwest, pushing into that cold air, and there could be all fun and games with that. I think that southern Britain might do better than expected, but in some other people's forecasts, I am kind of going for it. But I do think the north will be the driest under the high pressure. It will be closest to it because I think the high will be situated between Iceland and Scotland for much of the period through, especially the first half of December. I do think that the second half will have its milder parts, especially around Christmas. Get me Christmas hat on. No, I do think it will be quite mild around the Christmas time. It does have a tendency to be, but I think mild Christmases are definitely on the cards. In fact, a very mild Christmas, maybe temperatures reaching the mid-teens, before we turn very unsettled and stormy to end the month into January, before February. More fun and games return again. But December, I think the interest point is the first half of the month, and I think it could be very interesting. But there you go. Let me know your thoughts in my live chat or in the comments down below. Consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel if you found it informative. Hopefully I'm right because this November forecast is looking pretty accurate. Let's see what December's like. So yeah, thank you all very much for tuning in to today's premiere or video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye, everyone.